Welcome back, everyone. This is Dasho Rose here, back to review more of Blue Sky's films. I gotta say, the first two films turned out pretty well. Blue Sky is starting on a pretty good note. I meant to mention that the last review of Blue Sky, but yeah, it started on it's starting on a good note. But will this next film be as good as the first two films were? Well, let's find out. Ooh, who turned up the heat in here? It is hot. It is hot. Really, really hot. No, wait a second. This is Ice Age 2, The Meltdown. And this film is definitely not as good as the first one. Unlike the first one, which only had a few nitpicks, this second one here, the second Ice Age movie, I have a lot of problems with this film. A lot of problems with this. And I'm gonna be talking about that. Now this time around, I wrote notes down. I'm starting to do this now. I'm not going to do this with episode reviews, but since movies are really long, I'm going to be doing them with movies though. But yeah, I have a lot of things to talk about with this film actually. First thing on the list is to talk about this. This is a fun fact. This is actually the first Blue Sky film I saw in the theaters. I didn't watch a whole lot of movies in the theaters even back then, but this movie I watched in the theaters, and I was the only one in the theaters watching this. There was no one else in the theaters, except my dad, of course. We watched this movie, so I was allowed to talk in the theaters and stuff and talk about this movie. Yeah, that was interesting though. I mean, and that's back when theaters were really popular and stuff, and all that. Theaters are still popular now. I still go to theaters sometimes and see a lot of people there, but you're more likely not to find a whole lot of people there, especially because a lot of movies in Hollywood are not the best like the ones were. So yeah. But yeah, Ice Age 2, The Meltdown, though, is the first Blue Sky film I saw in theaters. I have not seen, I did not get to see Ice Age 1 and Robots in theaters, but I have seen this one in the theaters. And back then, I thought, you know, back when I was younger, I thought, that I was going back and forth with the first one and second one of which one was better. It was the first one, because I really enjoyed the first film, so I decided to see the second one in the theaters. And then you know, I ended up liking the second one more than the first one. Like, that was actually a few years later, and then now I like the first one better, because the second one, although the second one has a better story to it with you know, the ice melting, it has a better concept to it. It's really frustrating to watch this film. It really is. It really is. And this film came out in March 31st of 2006. That's when this movie came out, so you guys know. And I'm sorry if the thumbnails look kind of sloppy. I'm working on improving them over time. But right now they're gonna look kind of sloppy and stuff. I'm sorry about that. I meant to mention that I meant to mention that the last two times I've reviewed Blue Sky. I wanted to mention this in not Johnny Test, but this review, because people are probably going to be more likely to watch my Blue Sky films than my Johnny Test ones. I still think you guys should check them out, because I'm reviewing good and bad episodes from that show. So, yeah. But yeah, This film, though, definitely has a lot of problems, and I'm gonna get into it in a, I should talk about the Blue Sky logo too. In Robots, it was the first time that that logo appeared. It'll change down the road, but yeah, the logo is it started off in Robots as an oval shaped logo, so the logo looks oval shaped. Eventually, it'll have a cut scene with Scrat, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet, so yeah, but yeah, I do gotta say, I do really I do say there are some things I do like about the film. Like I do like some of the segments, like where I like the segment where like Scrat's fighting those he's fighting those piranhas and stuff is pretty funny, and there are some good segments with him, but they're not as good as the first one. And believe me, they'll get worse as time goes on. They'll get worse. But yeah, basically though, I do feel bad for Scrat because he keeps trying to get his acorn. The first movie, he had his acorn throughout the entire film. He just kept losing it, but he had it pretty much every scene. While the second one, it's a concept where he's trying to get his acorn back. He never has it except for the beginning of the movie. And I guess he dies and goes to heaven, or it's a dream. I can't tell if it's a dream because Sid wakes him up at the end, or if he actually went to heaven. I think the joke is that he actually went to heaven, and then he gets sent back to Earth because Sid saves him. But I don't really like that. I don't like how I want Scrat to win. I want Scrat to get the acorns, but he never freaking does. He never gets the acorns, and I don't really like that. Yeah, the Scrat segments are good, but I do feel bad for Scrat, and his voice. I didn't mention this in the first movie, but I forgot to mention it, of course. 'Cause that's why I'm writing the stuff down. But his voice is actually different in the first movie. For some reason, his scream is different. It sounds different. While in the segment at the very end where he gets washed up on that island and he screams when he loses his acorn, his scream sounds much different. I'm bringing that up because a lot of people, no one talks about it. No one has talked about that. That's why I'm mentioning it. But yeah, but Scrat's voice is different, and it's actually, his scream is definitely different than it was in the final clip showing him on the island, which I don't know why his scream changed throughout the movie. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, but his scream continues on from the last Scrat segment in the first film all the way up to what it is now. So I don't know why. Again, I don't know why that happened. And also, this film is much longer than the first one. The first one was only like 81 minutes. This one I think is like, I forgot how long it was, but it's definitely longer. Meaning the first Ice Age movie, if you don't count Adventures of Buck Wild, because that's not really Blue Sky's film, then the first Ice Age movie is the shortest of the ones, while Dawn of the Dinosaurs is the second longest, and then Collision Course I think is the longest film. So yeah. Pretty interesting, I must say. But yeah, I gotta say though, the Scrat segments are entertaining in this movie. They're not as good as the first one. I don't think they're as good. I feel more bad for Scrat here than I do in the first one, which is not a good thing. I mean, I shouldn't feel. I mean, I should feel bad for him in the first movie, but he had his acorn and stuff, and yeah, you feel bad for him because apparently the people behind Ice Age think it's funny to see a character suffer, which I don't like that. I really don't. I don't like how Scrat, always loses his acorn, and again, it will get worse after time. It'll get worse. It'll get bad when he loses his acorn and stuff. But it's still decent right now. It's still decent. But yeah, I do actually like this I do like this film, and thanks to my notes, I forgot to also play music in the background too. So I'm gonna play music. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I keep forgetting to do that. I'm not used to doing that, but good thing I wrote it down on my notes. But yeah, I forgot to put that on there though. But yeah, this film though has got a lot of stuff to talk about here. But when you if you have the DVD version of it, apparently on the DVD menu, the music will change too. So the music, it'll play a different song first. The Simpsons DVD did the same thing, where like it played a completely different song in the first like round, and then it just continued playing a different song. I'm not sure why DVDs do that sometimes, but they do. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure if there's any other DVDs that do that. Those are the only two I'm aware of so far that do that thing. But yeah, but apparently on the but I don't know too. But apparently on the box work, it still has the 2 on it. They do this all the way up to the 4th on the box art. Like, I don't know what's on the case, I don't think I found it on the case, but if you go on the Wikipedia, you can find that numbers on the movies on there, and then Ice Age Collision Course, they've completely removed it, so you can't find it anymore. So, yeah. But yeah, it's pretty interesting though how they do that. I don't know why they don't number them on the DVD boxes too. But I have seen it on the Wikipedia. I have seen pictures and stuff of it because I was looking for some of these DVDs and found it. But I figured now that I've talked a lot about the film, I think I'm going to go ahead and I talked about facts about the film, and I talked a little bit about what I missed in the first Ice Age movie. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the film itself. I talked a little bit about Scrat segments. Let's talk about the main story, the main one. Not the B segments, but the A segments, the ones with Manny, Sid, and Diego. This is just I'm not gonna lie. I think they're pretty good in this movie too. Apparently Diego now has a fear for water, even though he chased a human off the ledge of water, I guess. I'm not sure why he suddenly has a fear for water. I guess they just want to give Diego something for a character or something. I think it works though, because in the first movie he was only in like a couple inches of water, while Ice Age 2 there's a ton of water. Like there's a ton of water. It goes miles underneath. So he's afraid because he can't swim or something. I don't know. They don't really go into too much detail about that. And then Manny's main goal in the movie is to have he's worried he's the last mammoth until he runs into Ellie, and then he tries to convince her that she's a mammoth. Yeah, Ellie, this is the first appearance of Ellie, Crash, and Eddie. And my God, this is where the problem is with this movie. This is where it hurts the movie. Basically, Crash and Eddie and Ellie are all freaking obnoxious in this movie. They really are. I really do not like them. This movie's trying to set up Manny and Ellie as a couple, but they do a horrible job at it. They do a really horrible job. Now I know down the road, this will get bad, like in Ice Age 4 and 5. But this wouldn't be so bad if they would have hooked him up well. They didn't do a very good job at it. They didn't, though. Basically, Ellie is so freaking obnoxious. Basically, she's like constantly calling out Manny for trying to help and all of that, and I just think she's freaking annoying. I mean, her thinking she's a possum on paper sounds nice, but when you actually watch it on the film, it's freaking obnoxious. Because there's one segment where Manny risks his life to save everyone by freaking throwing an alligator, I think some sort of alligator creature in the water, and freaking Ellie's freaking calling out Manny, saying he shouldn't have done that because that's probably why his species are extinct. That is freaking so obnoxious. And there's another segment where she freaking like calls out Manny for shooting Crash or Eddie. I don't know which one's which. Out of a freaking tree. I think it's Crash. Yeah, it's Crash. I guess the joke is he crashes into a tree because he's Crash. He sings the "I Believe I Can Fly" song, which I kind of forgot about. But it's just obnoxious. Basically, what Ellie does is like, what's wrong with you? And then he's like, he said he could do it, and she's like, and you listen to him. I'm gonna stop the music too. But how is he supposed to know that? How the heck was he supposed to know? It's freaking stupid. It really is. And this movie is trying to freaking this movie right here is trying to hook Manny and Ellie up together. This is freaking stupid as hell. This is just stupid. I don't know. I don't really like this at all. I really do not like this, and I'm just. And even when she figures out that she's actually a mammoth, which we get a nice backstory. Too bad we don't really know what happens to her family, her parents. We don't know what happens to them. They don't mention it. They just show the cutscene with her by herself in the snow. But basically though, after she finds out that she's a mammoth, she freaking jumps on Manny. Manny's, I mean, yeah, the way he's flirting with her is not the best. Like, he's talking about how she has a big butt and all that, and that's just not right. I think that's just, you don't flirt with people like that. That's just not right. But the fact that the thing is that I think that what they're getting at in the movie is that he doesn't know how to flirt with them, you know. He doesn't know how to flirt really with mammoths because there's not really any other mammoths around, and he's been alone probably for a long time. So you know, it's just frustrating. It really is, and I just do not like it. I don't like the way they had them hook up. Because what happens is basically she gripes at them and then leaves and then makes them walk out at night when it's foggy out and it's hard to see. Which, by the way, that part of the movie, I had a hard time seeing it because the sun's out and it's hard to, with the sun shining through the window, it's hard to see them. The sun ain't shining on the TV, but it's just hard to see. During the daytime, it's hard to see that stuff pitch black when it's blackout. And it's like that through a good chunk of the movie. It's like that. But Manny tries to apologize to her, and she's like, what do you mean if it defended me? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just frustrating. Like, it really is. This freaking film is trying to, like, again, trying to hook up, is trying to convince the audience that Manny and Ellie are meant to be together, but then they show all of this, and I'm just like at the end of the movie, I'm like, why did Manny even go with her? Like, why did he even do that? She didn't even treat him right. She didn't even say thanks for him saving her for being trapped in a freaking cave. She didn't even say thanks. While in the first movie, Diego thanked Manny for saving him from falling in a pit of lava. Like, seriously. I do not like Ellie, Crash, and Eddie in this movie. All three of those characters are freaking obnoxious. They really are. And Crash and Eddie, oh boy, Crash and Eddie are freaking obnoxious too. Crash and Eddie are, like, they first appear by shooting like rock balls or whatever from, like, sticks at Diego and Sid, causing trouble with them. And I'm like, that's freaking a horrible way to introduce characters by having to pick on other characters. It's just frustrating. And I don't think Crash and Eddie are as stupid in this movie as they get later down the road. But I still don't like them too much. I still don't like them. I don't like how they were spitting stuff at Diego and Sid. And I wanted Diego to eat them. I freaking wanted him to eat them because I hate them so much. I really do. But I don't know though. I just don't know. But it's just frustrating. It really is. I'm just, yeah. These characters right here really hurt the movie. Luckily, I think it's about 20 or 30 minutes of the movie before they actually come on screen. So they're not on screen like too long. But still, I don't like them. I really don't like these characters. And the way, like I said, the way they handle it by trying to hook up Manny and Ellie together, it doesn't work. It does not work because Ellie's freaking a garbage character and freaking treats Manny like crap all the time. It's just frustrating. I really do not like it though. I really don't. And I figure I'm gonna be done. I'm done talking about. I'm done talking about this for right now. I think I've gone to the problem with the movie. Well, let's talk about the stuff I like though. The stuff I actually like about the movie. Again, I talked about how although I hate Ellie in this movie, I do hate her, and I wish they didn't pair her up with Manny because she doesn't deserve to be with Manny. I I still think the segment where they showed her past and all that, how she met Crash and Eddie, was good. The music, although it's not as good as the first film, it's still really good. It's still good, and the concept of the ice melting, that's a pretty good concept too. I like how, you know, the ice is melting, and I do like that, and I do like the Food Glorious Food song that the vultures sing. It's pretty funny. And another thing I like is the Sloth worshiping Sid or whatever, worshiping him. Although it's kind of pointless and it feels like it just drags the movie on for a bit longer. I still enjoy it. I still think it's decent. It's not great, but it's decent. Like how they try to sacrifice him and all that. The thing is, it's not brought up again until the very end of the movie, and I guess it makes sense because we don't need them. We don't need, you know. We don't need him, you know, talking about that throughout the entire movie. But there's actually some characters that actually die in this movie too. By characters, I mean one, Stu. Stu literally gets eaten by these fish creatures, which, by the way, that's another great part of the movie. It's too bad again that freaking Ellie ruined it a little bit. Not too bad. The scene's still great, but she kind of ruined it at the end by calling out Manny for telling him that he's not supposed to, you know, save people and stuff because bravery is freaking dumb and all that. That was freaking stupid. But I think they're pretty. I mean, they're not really bad guys like the first movie. The second movie doesn't really have any bad guys in it. But yeah, it doesn't have any bad guys in it. So yeah, but yeah, there's no bad guys in the movie. It's just predators eating prey, basically. The first movie had bad guys in it. They were actually bad guys. And the fight scene was pretty good in there. Now the fight scene in the second one, it's definitely not as good as the first one. The first one had Soto fighting, Manny and stuff. That was pretty nice. The second one's not as good though with that. The second one has a problem with the fish again. Their fight scene is pretty nice, and then the one at the end is pretty, I guess, somewhat nice, but they only show up for a second and then they get killed by Manny. So the fish creatures aren't in the movie too much. They're only in there a little bit. That's kind of how the first movie was with Soto and the tigers. They only had a few lines, but they were. But I feel like their fight scene was much better, honestly. But yeah, these fish literally eat stew, and I guess Fast Tony decides to I don't even know what Fast Tony is. I don't know what kind of animal he is, but he tries to make a joke about Stu, being dead and all that, and I'm like rooting for this guy to be eaten. I'm like, he's freaking making fun of. Well, he's not really making fun, but he doesn't seem to care that Stu was freaking eaten by these fish. Which is ridiculous, though. Man, it's just crazy how... And also, the characters in this movie, they say the word ass, too. Yeah, they say the word ass. I think it's ass by donkey, I think. I think that's what they mean by ass. I'm not sure, because they talk about the wild boy meets his wild ass mother or something. I guess it's donkeys or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure though. But yeah, they basically mentioned that though, and And also another thing I should probably another thing I should probably point out too about this movie too is, remember that necklace that Manny had in the first movie? I was gonna bring that up in the first movie, but I forgot to bring that up too. Apparently in the second movie he ain't wearing it. He's not wearing the necklace. So I don't know why they didn't give him the necklace, but apparently they didn't give him the necklace. So I mean the movies pretty much forgot about the humans. Honestly, they never were seen again after the first movie. The baby was seen in one scrap tale, but after that, the humans were completely gone from the movies, never to be seen again. So yeah, that's that. And Manny's name is actually Manny. Manny's name is actually only the first movie they mention his actual real name, Manthur or something like that. I forgot his name, Manthur or whatever. I forgot his real name. But in the sequels, they never bring up his name. They never bring it up again. So he's just called Manny, I guess. That Manny's a short name for his actual name. But I think it's Manthurn or something. I forgot his name. I meant to look up the clip on YouTube, but I forgot to do that. So yeah. Also, they make another joke about Manny being fat too. I think they do that in every single movie. They make a joke about him being fat. I don't know if they do that in Collision Course or not. I can't remember. I haven't seen Collision Course in years. But I think they probably would make a joke about him being fat too. I don't know. But yeah, it's just kind of weird and all that, how they just constantly make a joke about it. I mean, the joke, although gets kind of a little tiring after a while, it's just like a quick joke usually, except the fourth one where Captain Gut constantly calls Manny fat, and that one actually plays a role of his defeat, but still, I'm just like in Ice Age 3 he talks about it. In this movie, he talk about his overweightness. It's just weird, though, that they do that. But yeah, they talk about it all the time throughout the franchise and all that. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else to really talk about. I talked about a lot of stuff I really liked. The stuff on the notes was just noting stuff that I wanted to point out. It wasn't really stuff that I really needed to talk about. But yeah, this film though, like I said, this film is definitely got really frustrating characters and moments. But I think there's a lot of decent stuff in this movie. I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a meh. It's getting a meh. You probably were thinking a bad or something. Well, that's the thing. It's frustrating with Crash and Eddie and Ellie. They're all three frustrating characters. And I do not like the way they hook up Manny and Ellie together. I don't think they're meant for each other. Especially the way Ellie freaking treats Manny, but I'm not saying that Manny shouldn't have flirted with Ellie the way he did either, but he apologized to her when they were in the segment where they were about to die. They were about to die, and she freaking he apologized for the way he defended her. He was apologizing, but she freaking didn't accept his apology and all that. It just feels like, again, she doesn't even apologize either, but But yeah, I think it's a meh though, because that's really the only thing that's frustrating. And yeah, they're a big part of the movie, but they do have some nice moments with them in it, like the the food glorious food moment, and the and showing Ellie's past, like as a baby mammoth. That was pretty nice. I'm not sure what you would call baby mammoths either, but I don't know. I don't know if they have any names or something, but yeah, this is definitely a meh though, for sure. Definitely a meh. I'm gonna give it a score too. I'm trying to think of what score to give this, because this one is definitely frustrating, but it's enjoyable at the same time. I think because Ellie and Crash and Eddie are in the movie a lot, I think I'm gonna have to give it. Let's see here. 49 points. That's right, 49 points. That may be very low for a movie, but the fact that they're in the movie a lot, and they're really frustrating. That's the problem. They're really frustrating. I hate the way they introduced Crash and Eddie too. I really hate that, because they don't serve any purpose except for the freaking pick on Diego and Sid at the beginning of their first appearance. It's just freaking frustrating. But there's a lot of great moments, like I pointed out. I'm not going to point out all of them, because I want you guys to enjoy the film too. But yeah, I definitely don't think this film is definitely the best Ice Age movie. It's pretty low, honestly. It really is. It's really low. But I don't mind watching this film again. I really don't. I think it's got some interesting, moments. But I don't think it's, great or anything. It's definitely not great. Especially better than the films that are coming down the road. Especially the fourth and fifth one. Those ones are definitely going to be interesting to talk about. But anywho, before I go, I'm going to do a comment question of the day. I'm going to start doing this with every film if I can remember it, because I forgot to. I was going to do that with the first Blue Sky film, Ice Age, but I kept forgetting to do it. I'm only going to be doing this with films right now. I may do TV shows down the road. But what the comment question is going to be about is, I'm going to ask a question, and you guys can answer it in the comments. And even if this video is a few months old, I'll still go back to new people who are new to the review, and I will try to go back and I'm not going to always answer the questions depending on what they are. Like this one, I'm going to be talking about, but I want to hear what you guys think. The question is here: would you guys rather it be cold or warm? That's the question. This one I won't be answering. I'll be looking at people's comments, and I will be doing this. I will be doing this even with new people coming in. So if you guys have as many people can answer this question if they want, and I will be looking at the comments. Personally, I think being cold is a bit better, because you can put a coat on, and you can stay warm. While being hot, warm is by hot, I mean hot. You can't really put a coat on or anything, and plus, a lot of times there's tornadoes out and stuff when it's hot out. Today it's actually kind of cold out, but I can put a coat on or a jacket on and go outside. While if it's hot out, I can't do that. So yeah, I definitely think it being cold is definitely better. And this doesn't necessarily mean it has to be snowing out for it to be cold, but this means the way it feels. So tell me what you guys think. You guys think being cold or warm is better? Tell me in the comments below. And also, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Tell me what you guys think of Ice Age 2 as well. Tell me what you guys think of it. Anywho, this is Dasho Rose out.